Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Magique. We are going to look at this article on Thursday, and today's audio might sound a little bit different because I read it. I didn't find the audio version for this one because it's an old article and it's about sexual harassment. So let's get started. More than 40 women, many of them famous, have now added their names to the list of victims of crimes they say ranged from demands for sex in return for roles to indecent exposure, to groping and even rape. Police in America and Britain are investigating. Mr. Weinstein has been expelled from the Academy, the institution that awards the Oscars, and sacked by the Weinstein Company, the studio he co-founded in 2005. Most sexual harassment in the workplace is less serious than the acts Mr. Weinstein is accused of, but there are several similarities. One is a power imbalance between the perpetrator and victim. Another is that the victims stay silent, fearing that their careers will be harmed if they speak out, and that they will be disbelieved. A third is that bystanders do nothing to stop it happening. And fourth, the harm caused is often underestimated. Physical assaults such as groping and demands for sexual favors made by work superiors used to be widely regarded as a working woman's lot. That is rarer now, though some of the actresses accusing Mr. Weinstein of serious assaults say they stayed silent for so long, partly because they feared being characterized as slipping their way to the top. And the subtler types of harassment, such as suggestive remarks and lewd jokes, are still widely tolerated, though they can make a workplace so unbearable for a woman that she decides to leave. Much of it happens behind closed doors, meaning that even if a manager understands a victim's distress, there may be no corroborating evidence. All this means that sexual harassment is startlingly common, and harassers are rarely punished. In surveys over the past few decades in a range of industrialized countries, around half of women, and a smaller but significant share of men, say they have experienced it. The perpetrators are usually male. The overall rate does not seem to be falling, though it is hard to tell. Some think that rising awarenesses of verbal harassment as a serious issue may be masking a decline in the physical type. It's likely, though, that many survey understates the reality. Many people describe various hypothetical acts as sexual harassment, but do not think of themselves as victims, even though they have experienced the same thing. A woman who feels threatened by co-workers' sexual remarks, but certain that saying anything will only make matters worse, may prefer to minimize the problem, even to herself. There are no reliable figures from the developing world, but it is likely, if anything, to be even more common there. In the fields and factories where poor women work, managers can prey on them knowing that they have no other way to make a living. Though multinationals often set policies governing safety and working hours at their suppliers, those policies rarely, if ever, cover sexual harassment. In most rich countries, firms are required by law to have formal complaint procedures, but human resources departments may try to discourage reporting. Victims may feel that their experience was not sufficiently serious to warrant official action. Most fear reprisals. There is rarely supporting evidence. Of the few who make formal complaints, hardly any seeing them upheld.